What's going on, folks? Thanks for tuning in to this next video. So what we're about to do is not race at all. I'm just going to kind of go over my rig and everything going on, some of my DIY things that I've done to it, the seat, the monitor setup, all that jazz, all the stuff that people are always curious about when you tell them you're into sim racing. So we're going to flip you around and get you going. All right, so there she is in all her glory. First things we're going to talk about here is the seat. It's Next Level Racing FGT Lite, as you can see stitched there, all beautiful like. And what's neat about this seat is that it's completely modular. So it's got these points all along the side. They're indicated there by little cylindrical red pieces, and they match up on either side, right? And they're under tension, so there's a spring under here. When I release the latch, you'll notice that this piece right here came undone, and there's a whole series of them that stack up kind of like building blocks, and you can tighten or loosen this and then just clip it back down, and it's back under tension and it holds it in place. What's cool is that when I loosen this up and loosen the other side up, that will allow this piece specifically that it's attached to flex or bend whichever direction I want to move it, and I can do that on all the attachment points. So you can basically take this seat and configure it in a GT seat, which is pretty much an upright car seat, or a Formula style or open wheel seat, which is lower, more reclined. Your feet are kind of up like this in the seat, and then your waist and hips kind of V. So it's an interesting setup. Google it if you're not familiar with what Formula V position is in your seat. I tried the Formula position for a little while, and I felt that because I'm not super tall, that it was really uncomfortable for me, and I just didn't have the reach I wanted between me and the steering wheel to be comfortable while I'm driving. So I opted to kind of put it in this somewhat of a lower GT setup. So it's not quite all the way upright, but it's not quite all the way down into a Formula. This is just what's been comfortable for me, and everybody's a little bit different, but again, I'm not the tallest person in the world, so this is what I went with. You'll also notice that I have next to it this mouse and keyboard stand, which is also a Next Level Racing product, and I got it simply because I found it for a good deal online. So it's designed to fit with this chair that I have, or this racing seat, so that's what I went for. I didn't really want to build one because I put so much time and effort into building that frame right there, and that I just wanted the ease of being able to pull this out of the box, set it up, and it's good to go. This swivels, which is really cool, so I can move it over into my lap when I'm not racing and I need to navigate my computer. And I can also adjust the height up and down, and if I want to put casters or wheels on the bottom, I can. Obviously, you can see I have carpet, so I have no need for wheels. I just move it around with my hand when I need to get it out of the way. But for the most part, where it's at right now is good. I can freely get in and out of my seat with this out without this being in the way. So it really doesn't get in the way at all. It's conveniently placed. Nice little product. It's pretty sturdy. It's all metal, so it's cool. You'll also notice if you look at my seat here, my steering wheel, I know it looks pretty janky. It's very DIY. A lot of this setup is very DIY, but this is the Thrustmaster TMX, and what I did to it, you can notice if you're familiar with this wheel, is I took a coping saw and I just chopped off the upper portion and the lower portion of the wheel. Obviously, that's going to avoid your warranty, but you know, I'm going to upgrade this in the future, and I'm just going to hang on to this for, you know, whatever, some giggles down the road, I guess. I didn't want to really cuss on the camera here. You can get what I'm saying. But I really wanted an open wheeler setup for my steering wheel, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet on buying something more expensive, so I said screw it, and I cut it off. I took some 1-inch diameter caps, these little guys right here. They're just little PVC caps for pipes. They fit on there perfectly to cover up the open hole that I created from cutting it. And then I just took some handlebar wrap from a bicycle that I got online, and I wrapped it and just taped it up on the bottom. So yeah, it's not, you know, super fancy and doesn't look that great and nice, but this tape is really comfortable. It's super squishy, but it's not like sticky or anything, and it fills up all that dead space in my hand when I'm steering and driving. So it's really comfortable. I don't have to death grip the wheel. I can just hold it comfortably. It doesn't restrict me accessing the paddle shifters or anything. So I'm really happy with it and how it turned out. To each his own. You know, if you're comfortable spending money on something and then completely turning it into a Frankenstein, get after it. You'll notice this here. This is a little janky too. This is another little weird DIY deal, but my phone, I downloaded an app. I want to say it's called Sim Dash or Sim Dashboard, something like that. I can pull it up and I'll post it on my Instagram or on my next YouTube video, what it is or what have you. But basically, this is just a like dash mount for your car or for any standard car, and it's just this like rubberish material, and I just glued it down, and then I took the two pieces that hold your phone up and I just try to hold them as vertical as I could and then fill in the gap underneath with some hot glue from a glue gun. And that allows me to take my phone and mount it like this in front of my monitor here and above my steering wheel, and I can use that Sim Dash app, and it allows me to basically have all that telemetry data on my phone right here while I'm driving, and it streams from my game to my phone. So it's real time. You know, it shows my RPMs and what gear I'm in and all that real time from the game to my phone. So it's really neat because obviously the TMX doesn't have telemetry or screen or anything electronic on it. So it works out really well for me. I like the setup now for what I'm using it for. So yeah, you know, give it a shot if that's something you're into. Sim Dash, I think is what it is. Android and Apple, I think both have it. Now if we come down here to the pedal set, this was probably one of the coolest things that I did, and I'm really happy about it. So if you look at the back, this is just the standard 2-pedal setup from Thrustmaster that comes with the TMX. But on the back side, I put these two attachments. Now the 2-pedal from Thrustmaster on the TMX doesn't come with load cell or anything crazy. Down in here, there's a crummy little spring. Sorry, Thrustmaster, but I mean, you get what you pay for with this one. It's on the lower end of how expensive this stuff is, so you don't really get a lot with the pedals. But you don't get any resistance in the original pedal set, so I went online, did some research. I forget the forum, and I forget the guy or gal who posted it, but they suggested this, and I tried it, and I'm so happy I did. These are 120 millimeter long shocks or suspension kit for remote controlled cars, like competitive remote controlled cars. And I got a pack of 4 of these for like $30, I think, online, and they're awesome. So they come with the screws, they come with these little spacers down in there, if you can see that, a little metal piece right in there. And I basically just got a drill bit that's a little bit smaller in diameter than these screws, and I screwed in to the top of the back of this pedal mount, and then to the back of the base right there, as you can see. And basically all I did before I screwed it in to mark it was I lined these up, and right now they're at a full extension without me pulling on them or anything like that, and they fit perfectly from the back of the pedal to pretty much the edge of the base plate. So again, 120 millimeters, perfect size for this if you decide it's something you want to do. It's really cheap. It doesn't drill into any of the electronics underneath here in the base plate if you're curious about that. And there's nothing here structurally that's going to get damaged. So it works out well. And what's neat is you're going to get some pretty good resistance pushing the pedal down. It's not load cell, so this is not meant to replace it. This is just an upgrade to the standard 2-pedal Thrustmaster. But you're going to get some resistance pushing down. And if you want more, you can just screw these and they'll tighten up the tension on the springs or loosen it, as you can see it moving. But once you press down and reach 100% and you start to lift up the trail brake, that's where this upgrade really pays off, is now you're getting active resistance as you're releasing pressure on the pedal. And that made a huge difference in my gameplay, in both how much I enjoyed it and how much more accurate my trail braking was. Like, I still lock up a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's made a bigger difference in me learning how to trail brake, and it was awesome for $30. You know, I'm not spending a couple $100 on a new load cell set, so that was really cool, and I'm pretty happy with it. This is the standard wheel plate and base that comes with the Next Level Racing FGT Lite seat. So we'll move on, right? So here we have my frame that I built, well, my girlfriend helped me tremendously with this part. She's helped me with a lot of this, and I can't thank her enough for putting up with this hobby of mine. But basically, we took some 2x4 and we made these feet here, one there, and then there's one over there. And then we took some 4x4s and we made the posts. So here's one, and there's one on the other side of the Xbox. And if you want dimensions, just message me. I can let you know. It's pretty standard. And then we took another 2x4 here, and then one right here. And we basically made an H frame and turned it on its side. So I have one vertical post going through the middle. And we sealed up all the seams here, anywhere there's a butt joint, with metal brackets. So there's either going to be a straight flat one or an angled one like this, pretty much, or like that on every seam. And then up here, there's some good ones. So that's pretty much what we did. And I mean, there's no, it creaks because it's wood, but there's really no like horizontal flex or movement, and very little movement laterally like this. So we're really pleased with what we did here, and it works out exactly what I needed to do. So now we're going to move on. So you'll notice I have a 2-monitor setup. I used to have them side by side, one here and one on my left, but I found that when I'm trying to race and I need to glance briefly at my screen, I would look away to my left over here, and obviously that's not ideal when you're driving. Take my eyes off the screen, and I make a huge mistake. So I moved it up here, and I'm really happy with that because now I can just kind of glance up real quick instead of turning my head to the side. And you're probably curious as to why I have the curved screen above the flat screen. Now, I tried the curved screen out for my driving, and don't mind the fingerprints. I've been moving it around. So, but I tried the curved screen, and I just couldn't get like my perspective. I couldn't get the ratio right. I was struggling a lot, and I just didn't enjoy the experience. And that bottom monitor, the BenQ, is a lot better. It has a faster refresh rate. It's just, I don't know, everything about that monitor is a better experience for me playing F1 2020 than this AOC by Asus curved monitor. It's a 29-inch ultra wide that I got at Office Depot for like well under $200. So it was a really good deal, and that's why I got it, but it just doesn't work out for me driving wise. So I put it up top, and I use it for my secondary and tertiary open apps. So Streamlabs, OBS, or recording software while I'm going, any of my video editing stuff, I'll run on that top screen. And then my gaming and all that primary work, it's done right down here on the bottom screen, and it is awesome. So the mounts, we're not going to get too into this because I understand, yes, there's some overhang here, and it is a little janky. But trial and error and a little bit of a headache basically came down to I had to use this arm for this screen, and I had to use this arm for this screen. And I wanted this screen up top, so I had to put this arm up here, right? So that's all it really comes down to. And what ended up happening was that I needed to drop this arm all the way down to the bottom of this stud and to this horizontal piece to attach it. And to get clearance between these two screens so that they don't touch when I move them in and out, this one basically had to be up top. Now, I built the frame first for just one monitor mount. I never really intended to have vertical monitors like this, like 2 of them. So I just kind of made do with what I had, and I really didn't want to basically have to bring this whole thing up and somehow increase the size of that vertical bar right there to get all 3 attachment points on here. I really didn't want to do all that. And if I lowered this and just extended this horizontal piece without having to change the side legs, then I would have pretty much had to drop the whole seat configuration so that the screen would match up where I needed it to. So there would have been a whole lot more engineering and construction for this than I really wanted to do, since this thing's pretty much already built and it's really sturdy. So structural wise, this thing's not going anywhere. It still has 2 out of the 3 screws in there, and they're all the way through, so it's good. This one has just 2 screws, and it works out really well. I'm super pleased with it, aesthetics aside. So, you know, it is what it is. I got this little hook at, like, I don't know, Hobby Lobby or one of those stores that just sells a bunch of those weird little, you know, mounts, shelf under, I think it's like a shelf bracket or mount or something like that, but it holds my Xbox controller pretty well. Some decorative pieces. Got my Euro mounts up there for my license plates. Pretty happy with that. And then this is just a rope light, like an LED rope light, right? And I know that looks like a cluster rat nest back there, but it's not. It's all tied up. There's some cable snakes and stuff. So if you look over here, I've got this cable snake. And since this past week, the last couple of days, I've been moving all these wires and monitors around. There's some free ones, but all these wires will pretty much go back into this cable snake here. And there's one running back there that'll encase the rest of them. So there's method to it. I promise. It's not super wild and gross. But pretty much that's the rig holding the monitors, and I'm super pleased. It was pretty inexpensive to make. If you can find some cheap lumber at the local home store and you got a handsaw, you can pretty much do all of this. I have a lot of power tools, but you can do this really easily without power tools. Just a little bit of sweat, right? Again, if you want some dimensions or any plans, just hit me up in the comments. Let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you. Help you guys out, steer anybody in the right direction. If we come over here, so here we have my boom arm for my mic, the pop filter, and this is by a company called Blue. It's the Snowball, and it's one of their lower priced items that still produces a high quality sound. So that's why I went with it. You know, there's tons of other options out there if you want to go higher in your price point, but the Blue Snowball is awesome. The next step up will be like the Blue Yeti, but I like this. It does what I need it to do. It works really well, and it was really cost effective. So that's what we're going to go with, right? And then you'll see I've got here a light and then a backup right there just in case I need it. This light you can get on Amazon by a company called Neewer, Neewer, and it comes in a 2-pack, and it was really inexpensive. There you can get soft yellow light, bright white, and soft white out of this, and then it has these removable interchangeable gel filters, and you can change the color on them and basically get like blue or yellow or red or green, whatever color you want. I use this lighting, it's just standard white because it works out better for my video and I get colors from other places. But we'll talk about that in a sec. And then here I have my Logitech C920, I think is the webcam, and it works fine. It does 1080p. Maybe it might do better, I don't know, but I know for sure it does a minimum of 1080p, so it works out well. Standard camera tripod. The camera will mount to that, no problem. And then in the back, you can see down there, my Xbox is mounted to a hide-it mount, drilled straight into the 4x4. Don't worry about those 2x4s under there. That's just me trying to figure out the best way I want to mount my computer when the time comes this weekend. But speaking of computers, I don't have it turned on. I just turned it off because it's been running all day. But this is an HP Omen 30L. Now, I got a pre-built because I didn't want to spend the kind of money that I would have to spend right now to pick parts and build my own. Now, if you're not familiar with what's going on in the PC world right now, cryptocurrency is obviously doing well. And to mine cryptocurrency, you need a good computer. You need a good graphics card or a GPU, and you need a good CPU. With that, they're in really high demand, especially graphics cards. And graphics cards are in such high demand that they're pretty much sold out everywhere. A lot of the big sites, Newegg, Amazon, they're hard to come by. You can go to PC Part Picker and build up your entire dream computer, and unless you've got, you know, $10,000 to spend on building a computer, those are about the only graphics cards that are worth anybody's time that are available. So anything in the mid-level range that most folks like myself would want to use are sold out. And you can buy them secondhand, but folks are jumping their prices up selling used graphics cards because they know they're in high demand. So what I did was some more research, and I found that I could get this HP Omen 30L with all the same specs of what I had priced out previously to build myself for less than what I would have had to do if I built it myself. So it seemed like a no-brainer to me to get this. I have options to upgrade it in the future. I know it's not like the perfect computer, but for the price I paid for this thing, it's great. It's awesome. It's got, you know, it's not turned on right now, but the CPU is a Ryzen 7 3700X, and the GPU is a GeForce RTX 2060. So it works out really well. It's got, you know, 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive for storage. I don't know all the, you know, super specs of this thing, if you want to call it that, because I'm not a huge computer guy. I just know that the main components I needed are what I wanted them to be, and it was cheaper than building it myself. So in the future, if I need to upgrade the motherboard to add some things to it, or upgrade the fans for cooling, then I'll start doing that when I have to. But for now, it's worked really well for me, and I'm super happy with it. When it's booted up, I'll just boot it up right now just to show you. It's got all these cool lights, and I can change the color of these. That noise is my steering wheel calibrating, if you were curious. But basically, all these lights and stuff. Yeah, see, there's the RAM. They're two 8 gigs DDR4s of HyperX. There's the RTX. There's the fan spinning on the CPU. And I can control all the RGB colors in here with an app on the computer, which is really cool. But, you know, if you're into the looks of stuff, like this case offers it, you know, some of the stuff in there, all the fancy RGB that people love. But that's pretty much that, you know, and I'm really happy with it. Before I was running F1 2020 on my Xbox One S with, sorry man, my allergies are killing me today. I'm sorry about these sniffles. But I was running my Xbox with a capture card through my old tower, which was like this Dell desktop that I got for free from my office. So it had an Intel i7 processor, so it worked out really well. But the graphics card was bad, and if I wanted to upgrade anything, I was restricted because of like the Dell format in the processor. That's a whole nother spiel that I'm not really going to get into right now. But basically, it was just producing kind of poor quality videos for me. It was lagging a lot, and I was unhappy. So I decided, screw it, I'm going to invest in the computer, and I'll just run my game and my streaming software through the computer, and this thing does it perfectly. So it's, again, the HP Omen 30L. I'm happy with it. If you're trying to stream or play games, it works wonders for both. I can edit my videos with editing software on here too, which is primo. So now I don't have a capture card anymore. I use the Xbox just to play games with some other friends and stuff, but all my racing now is done on the computer. And it is really choice. I enjoy it a lot. So that's kind of the rundown on the computer situation. I said I was going to talk a little bit more about my individual lighting for like the ambiance, if you will, of the room. So I went to probably Lowe's or Home Depot or something, and I got 2 light bulbs that are RGB LED color changing light bulbs via your phone. So I can use my phone and Bluetooth to the light bulbs, and I can change the colors on them. I can adjust the intensity, like the brightness of the color, and it's awesome. And I just got 2 of them. If you get more than that, they can get pretty expensive, but they do a really good job. If you go back and look at some of my videos on YouTube, my previous ones of me driving, if you look in the background, there's like a blue and like a nice orangish pinkish color. That's these 2 light bulbs doing it, and I'm going to show you right now like how I have them set up. Again, I get it, the cables are kind of, but let's check it out. Flip you around. There's one right there, and that's the blue light that just kind of comes up. And then I've got this one, and this is the orange one that kind of comes up. And right now I have a white light on over here with that ring light, so it's kind of hard to see, but it lights up this whole corner in this closet door here in that nice orangish color if I want. And the blue one hits that back wall just perfectly. So that's the lighting setup I have. Also on this wall over here, I got this like $10 light box / marquee thing from Walmart. And what's cool about this is that obviously it's backwards because of my camera right now, but these letters, like, they just slide out. There's plastic or acetate letters, and it comes with a whole bunch of them in the kit. But you can put whatever you want on here. And then there's a power switch right there on the side, if you can see it. And then you can put batteries in it like I have now, because I don't run it very often, or you can plug it in. But I didn't want to have a big old cable hanging up on the wall, so I just threw some batteries in it, and it works out really well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the setup, you know. Got some random shelving and some trinkets and stuff on the wall, but this is just a spare room in my house. It's just me and the girl living here. We don't, you know, we have some animals, but we don't have anybody living in the spare room right now. So she's been awesome and allowed me, you know, a little bit of freedom in this room to set this up. And I don't know, it's been cool. She's been really supportive. If you have a significant other in your life that's supportive and understanding of what you're trying to do, that's awesome, and I'm stoked for you. I'm stoked for myself because she's been great. So shout out to my girlfriend, Christina. Thank you for being awesome and putting up with my insanity. Much appreciated. And that's pretty much it. So if anybody has any questions, or, you know, you want to see some more, or you want to, again, get some ideas or some plans or some dimensions for the rig itself and how I built the frame, or any of this other stuff that I have, and anything that I've talked about today, if you're curious about it, drop a comment, let me know, and I'll reach out to you. We'll talk some more about it. Maybe I'll do another video reviewing the seat or the steering wheel, or something individually specific I can do a review on if anybody wants to see it. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, go follow my Instagram. All of it helps. Again, the Instagram is at allwheel_mustache. I've got photos from when I first set up my rig and started that journey. It's really cool to see how archaic that was to where I'm at now. It's miles away from where I am now. And I'm always going to post when I'm putting a new video up on YouTube on my Instagram. So go check it out. Hit that follow button. Tell all your friends. And once again, thanks for coming by.